Hello, OOTP. This is Twins34, and today I am going to do a little bit of a tutorial on the development lab. So we will head over to OOTP 25, and to get to your development lab, you just want to click on your team name, player development. In current versions, like if you start in 2024 or a live game, it will be called the Development Lab. Since I'm playing a historic game, it is called the Practice Facility, but it is the very same thing. So I click on Practice Facility, and it gives me a list of all of my players to pick to send to the Development Lab. So let's pick on Gary Gaetti. And we'll just go right straight down the list of what each one of these do. So for base running fundamentals, if you click on your player's profile, base running is going to be this stat right here. Base running is going to be this rating right here. This is how well your player runs the base paths. The lower it is, less doubles, less triples. Higher it is, pretty good chance of getting a few more doubles and triples. The base stealing technique. Now this one will affect both your stealing aggressiveness and your stealing ability. Learn a new position. This is going to pick from his defensive ratings here, and it's going to teach him a new position down here based off his ratings. Now, if he had some outfield ratings, he'd have a chance of learning like left field, center field, or right field, wherever his ratings would work best. Bunting drills. That is exactly what it is. It helps with your two bunting ratings. So your sacrifice bunt and your bunt for a hit. Running mechanics. This will help with your speed. If your player is slower, this will help bump up his speed rating. Plate discipline. The plate discipline is all about his eye. So it would train up his eye ability. Gap power is exactly what it says. It will help train your gap power. I will talk about this at the very end because improving defense is a very intensive subject. So I will do improved defense after I'm done with the next three. So quality of contact, that's going to help raise your BABIP. Two-strike approach, that's going to help with your avoid Ks. So if you look at Gary Gaetti, your BABIP and your avoid Ks. That is what quality of contact and two-strike approach are going to focus on. BABIP and avoid Ks. Generate bat speed, that is your home run power. Now, to go back to improved defense. This one works differently for different positions. For someone that is a first base player, let's bring over Ken Herbeck and take a look at him. He has infield range that is really low, infield error, infield arm, and he was known to be a very good defensive first baseman. And he was able to turn quite a few double plays at the position. But normally, a first baseman would not have a very high turn double play. So, when you train a person that is a first baseman, you'll see a little bump at infield range. You'll see a decent bump at infield error and a little bump on infield arm. You will see nothing on turn double play. When it comes to second baseman, it's going to up their infield range a little bit. It's going to increase their infield error a decent amount. Their infield arm is only going to be a little bit, and their double play will be higher. So when you train a second baseman, it's going to focus on more of range, error, and turn double play. You will see an improvement on the arm. It just won't be as big, as this game doesn't really rate second basemen with strong arms. If we look at a shortstop, now this is a horrible shortstop, but for our purposes, you're going to see a good jump in range, error, arm, and double play. A shortstop needs all three of these to be good at their position. So, they will see an increase on all three of those. And that's why it's harder to train shortstops. If I bring that shortstop over, to the training, you will see that it's actually showing him at second base. So if we pull him up, look at his ratings, it's going to show us he is actually better at second base. And that's another thing about how this works right now, is that the improved defense rating program is going to choose the highest rated position out of your position ratings on where to train that player. So even though it says he's a shortstop, since his second base is higher, that's what it's going to train him in. Now, if I go to editor and take second base off of him, you'll see now it changed over to shortstop. Because now, just barely, a 40-35, the shortstop is his better position. So, make sure when you go to train someone, you're training them at the right position. I mean, this guy, he is definitely a second baseman. That is where I would play him at. because he is not a good shortstop. But because second base was his highest rated, it was coming up that improved defense was second base. But now that you see, shortstop is rated hard to improve. So, like I said, certain positions are harder to train. First base is easiest. Second and third, I believe, are both medium. Let's take a really quick look at that. Throw second base in. That says he's at third, so we will not use him. And he says second base, so second base is medium. And we'll put Gary Guidey back on in. And third base is medium. If I put first base up, first base is easy. So each position rating that you try to advance, not only do they train different things, depending on the position, they are harder to train. Now, in the outfield, since I'm not going to go over defense again in the outfield, left field is the easiest to train. As you see, left field is easy. Right field is easy. The corner outfields are the easiest to train. Now, right field is going to give you more arm, where left field's going to give you a little bit more range. But if I bring in a center fielder, if they are a true center fielder like he is, it is difficult to advance his defense at center field. And that's because he's going to get a good jump in his range, error, and a decent amount in his throwing arm. But it's going to be more of a higher jump in his range and his error than throwing. Where left field and right field, left field, you're going to get a minimal increase on your range, error, and throwing. Where in right field, you're not going to get as much range, but you're going to get error and higher throwing. So, just make sure when you're picking your players that this right here shows your player in his position as his highest rated position. Now, this one's actually a little bit interesting because he should be rated as a left fielder, not a center fielder. So, why Ron Jackson is getting the ability at center? I am not 100% sure on that. We do have a few other programs that are not showing up. Let's bring in Mike. I believe I seen it underneath him. No, I did not. All right, here we go. Strength and conditioning. It is also rated hard, but strength and conditioning is going to improve your player's injury rating. Now, please do not confuse this as gaining stamina, as pitchers have a different program that helps them with stamina. So if we look at Bob Randall, it does say his injury proneness is normal, but he does have legs that are very high. If you get a success in this program, it will help bring this leg proneness of 103 down. So let's go over to pitchers. We'll bring in Jerry Koosman. We'll start with him, as he is an older pitcher. And then we will bring in a younger pitcher as well. So, secondary pitch improvement is just that. It is going to take your second best pitch and try to improve it. Improve defense at pitcher. It's going to give you a little bit of range and throwing power. It's very minimal, but it will help your pitcher be able to field the ball a little bit better. Bunting drills is the same as hitting. Improve control. This helps your pitcher's control. Increase pitch movement. Now, pitchers have home run allowed and pitching BABIP. Your pitching BABIP is set right here. It does change slightly as your pitcher pitches better or worse. It will bring this BABIP number up or down. But this program of increased pitch movement will improve your home run allowed, which is considered underneath your editor the raw movement. That will be helping with this development right here. Pitch arsenal. This is going to take, I believe, by reading this, one of your worst off-speed pitches and make them better. I'm going to guess like that changeup that is at a 2020. This program should help develop that pitch to be a little bit better. That's what I get from this description. If that is correct, I'm not sure. If anybody else has done this program and knows, please leave a comment below and let us know what you have seen as the improvement off of using this program. Increased velocity. This is a really cool program. It is hard for a reason, because this not only will increase your velocity, but it will also help with your stuff. So when you look at a pitcher, velocity will help these pitches get better. The only pitches that velocity does not affect is the circle change, the knuckleball, and the changeup. All the rest of the pitches get a slight increase depending on the pitch on their rating. The fastball is going to get the biggest increase, where like the curveball, the screwball, they're going to be less. They will not get as big as an increase, but they will get an increase. So increasing velocity on a pitcher that has low velocity will make your pitcher much better. Endurance training. This is your stamina. So even though that other strength and conditioning program says stuff about stamina, it has nothing to do with pitchers. Endurance training is what is going to enhance your stamina. Add pitch to arsenal. This is another pretty cool program. Say you have a relief pitcher that has an amazing fastball and an amazing curveball. And they also have like 60 stamina. Well, you have a chance to use add pitch to arsenal to give him a third pitch to make him a viable starting pitcher. All right, let's look at one of the younger guys and see if there's anything different that we missed. Like, he has the strength and conditioning, so he can help fix his injury proneness. Where Jerry Kuzman, who's 37 years old, he's probably about to retire, and that type of program would not work on him. All right, so next thing is when you complete these, you will get an email. Now, by default, as I'm going to go underneath game and game settings, I'm going to go to players and team. And right here is all of your stuff with your development lab. This line right here, by default, is not on. This is going to show you in the email you get exactly how much your development has helped your player. Like, say you did base running. It will say a big, huge spiel. And then down at the bottom, it'll say your base running has improved by, and then it will show 5, or it might show greater than 5. So this is a very good thing to go in and make sure you have turned on. Your development lab size. You can go from 1 to 20. I normally go 12. 6 is the default, but I like to have 12. It's just my preference. You can see with your own experiments what works best for you. I mean, you might want to go less than 6 to make it more difficult for you. You might want to go 20 to make it easier to develop players. Me, I go with 12. Now, there are also, for what I have seen in my experiences, 4 different completion categories. You got poor, which means the player did not do well at all in his development training. You got unsuccessful, means that he completed it, but nothing changed. Then you got successful, which means the player got the minimal bonus to his development, which is like 5 points. And then you have outstanding, which will give you a bonus to your development And also, let's say I put in Ken Herbeck. And I wanted to help his gap power. Well, technically, unless I get an outstanding achievement off a gap power, this will be a waste of my time. But if I have nothing else to train him in, and since he is only 20 years old and I want to try to get that gap power up, if he gets an outstanding, he will also get a boost in his potential. He'll get a 5-point boost into his potential. Now, I wouldn't recommend wasting your training like that. I mean, with somebody like Kent Herbeck, who is a pretty good hitter, I would focus on running and I would focus on his defense just to make him a better all around player. But if you have a lot of that already done and you want to try to get good gap power and hopefully get lucky and get that outstanding boost, then I say go for it. All right. So that is my explanation on the development lab. Now, I might not be 100% correct on every single thing I talked about, but from experiences and a little inside knowledge on the workings of the development program, I will say I'm pretty competent in what I have told you. But please take everything I said with a grain of salt, as this program could change. It could change in the next patch, and if that happens, I will happily do a new video on this program. But for now, I'd like to thank everybody for coming to watch. Please like and subscribe, as that does help me out. And also, if you would like, you can come watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/twins_34. And I will sign off, and I hope y'all have a great day.